Hey, hello, and we're back with another episode of Dance Gems. I think we have an interesting topic, a topic that it's close to not only my heart, but it's close to our heart, and it's about body shaming. And we would like to have an unfiltered conversation on body and shaming. And of course, I would never do this without my good friend and fellow Dance Gem, Ton Greten. Let me see if he is there. Hey, Ton, are you there?
I am there, Sean. Nice to
Good.
see you. Nice to hear you.
Nice. Nice to see you. I would like to talk. I know we did it in Dutch already, but I would like to talk to you about body shaming. I know that is also a topic that you feel very strongly about, um, but I do too. What do you think? Is that a good topic for today?
Absolute, absolute, Sean. It's something what goes on my heart, and yes, we will make a kick off. You can start, Sean.
Yeah, no, all right. So body shaming. So let us look at it from several perspectives. But what we notice actually is that whether it's in a class or when people look at dance, that there are sometimes very strong reactions more on the appearance on someone than maybe on the abilities or capabilities of the performance itself, and we just wonder why that is. Where is that coming from? Is that always bad? And then if we explore to it, then actually we see some pretty strong examples how weird that can be. Body shaming, right? So that's what we're going to talk about, you know. And dancers apparently need to only be tall and well fitted shapes, otherwise they cannot dance. Tom.
Yes, yes, yes. That's an opinion what we have. I would start with the beginning. Why
Yeah,
we have an opinion about somebody,
appearance.
how somebody must look.
Yeah.
That's quite strange because you have cultural backgrounds, and in different cultures, you have different opinions about how somebody have to look.
Yeah.
But when I put it to dance, related to dance, to the ballet academies, they looking for particular a particular type of person. And when you are on a young age, like 10, 11, 12, and you go to your first academy of ballet, they would say, okay, you need long legs, you need to have the joints have to go very open, long neck, long arms, but still, these children are growing in the beginning, so and they not explain what they're looking just for a child who they could educate, and somebody who had some more weight, then they would say, oh sorry, we cannot accept you. Or
Yeah.
somebody
Mm.
looks very small.
Yeah.
I would not give a judgment about that one, but they judge these bodies and they look for a particular body type, but they not give context to the, say, the one who want to be in that academy, and to the parents. So they think only about, I need only to dance good and very well, and I need to have experience in a certain area of ballet. And this is quite strange for me. It starts already on a young age.
Yeah. 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 No, basically, what you're saying is that some, if not all, famous ballet academies, they have criteria how someone needs to look like. The appearance, what has to do with the length of the bones, and all that kind of stuff. And that's their first criteria to let you in. And you would think that dance ability and skills would be the first criteria, but it's not. It's the other way
Mhm.
around, which is really strange. Now, that in itself, as bad as that sounds, if that was very clear from the very beginning, then at least oh, I don't fit that criteria. Let me not take the trip to Paris and see if I can get into that academy. but it is actually not so clear, and that feels very bad for young dancers, particularly, right? That they are dismissed just on appearance.
Yes, the outside tried to put a sticker on you how you must look, or a stamp on you. This is how you must look. I have one example. I danced once Latin dancing, so samba, cha cha cha, and one of my teachers, I had several teachers, but this one I had mainly many lessons from, Marcel de Rijk. Um, he is passed away last year. That's really a pity. It was really, really nice. But his picture was every Latin dancer needs to have black hair. And actually, I was blonde. Now I'm bald. And in that time, I thought, okay, I will do my hair black. Then my results will go forward. And what looks so stupid, me with black hair and my eyebrows I had also to make black. I looked really like a clown. I think I did this for at least 1 year or 2 years. I walked with it, and and s- and in Blackpool I thought, okay, I will shave it between the rounds, from the evening to the from the daily rounds to the evening rounds, and it's very special because then everybody goes in a very nice suit, in a smoking, in the evening dress, and the judges also, they go in the evening dress and in a smoking. And when I came to the floor, I saw the shock in the face of all these judges and the audience, the perceivers who was watching to you, and like with the mouth like open, surprise. Oh, what he did there is, he is crazy. And then you can see how stereotyping they are. They want that you are in a certain box, that you look like a certain person. And actually, they were in shock, and I felt not happy how I looked. I was the bold. No, I'm bold. At that time, I thought, okay, I want to look like Agassi. He was tenniser
Yeah.
and tennis player. And yes,
Yeah.
and many years later, that was in the 90s, they not remember who won, but they remember that I was bold.
Yeah, they do. You do, and you have that same thing. I remember when I mean, we're talking about ballroom dancing here, and Blackpool was at that time at least probably one of the most prestigious competitions in the world. So it was that's you know that had an impact. But I also remember when same thing. It's the same topic. Louis van Amstel once had a ponytail. They were more talking about his ponytail than his dancing abilities. Then we
Hmm.
had Sandro Cavallini who danced with a bandana, because
Hmm.
he was bald, and he danced with the bandana. They were more talking about his bandana than his dancing. So of course we're not saying that appearance is not important. Appearance is part of the performance art. The question here is when is that appropriate to use, and when is it actually more like body shaming? If you would say something, fat people can never become number one, you have to lose at least 20 pound, that is a form of body shaming, right? That's what we're talking about. Or bald people can never be number one because you need to have black hair. That is a form of body shaming, which can damage specifically younger people on a very deep core level for the rest of their life.
Yes,
Um,
I understand that, Sean, and this
mhm,
happened a lot also,
yeah.
not only in the Latin ballroom world,
Hmm.
also in the ballet world, but also in the daily life world.
Of course, yeah, of course.
And I give some examples what happened. My daughter danced, and she danced on a academy. I will not say the name now, but the most academies behave strange like that. And they said to her, when I would have a knife, or she told to me, I don't know if it was to her or to somebody else, but she said to me, the teacher said, when I would have a knife, I would cut a little bit from left, a little bit from right, a little bit from your boobs, and a little bit from your popo, your ass, and then you would have the exactly form what we want,
Yeah.
and we, not I, want. Um, this is not acceptable to young children because this can influence your whole life and follow you for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah.
And another example is in our world, in the Latin world, one colleague came in Moscow and said to the girl I was judging there, was on a very nice competition in Moscow. I go on that competition after I see the dancers who won that competition, and the trainer came there, and she said, next time you have to be 10 kilo off. And I get a shock and I said to the teacher, sorry, can you not say first hello? No, no, it's like that. And years later, her name was Julia. Julia, I saw again in St. Petersburg. And I said to Julia, can you remember that time that the teacher said that? She said, no, I don't know. No. I said, at that time, I was in shock. No, for me, it was fine. I know this teacher was so crazy, so I didn't take it serious. Yeah. What do you think about these two examples, Sean?
Yeah, well, of course, there is a very strong correlation specifically with young girls and the form of anorexia and bulimia when they go into that world. So it's pretty well documented that there is a connection between eating disorders and wanting to keep up with the ballet criteria, right? So that I think that's a very strong point to see that is maybe not correct. So I think that's we say that all maybe without thinking about it. If we say something about something that appearance, because we say, hey, ballroom dancing is has something to do with beauty. We want to look beautiful. But if someone then is too tall, too dark, too maybe too much weight, we immediately put them outside that category of what is not beautiful. So even if we don't say it directly, you dismiss someone saying, hey, you are not beautiful enough to do what other people do, and that is very damaging to someone's to a young to you, not only to a young person but specifically of course to younger people. So what I think about it, I have literally no good words for it. If you and I would make a choreography, and the choreography is in such a short way that we make, let's say we do that, we want to make an extreme difference between tall and short people, then we would say in the advertisement, hey, dear people, we are looking for dancers and we have a specific theme where we want to portray short and long people, and then we are very clear what we're looking for. I don't have a problem with that if they are very clear about the criteria and why the context is as such. But when it's given and loaded with subjective things like beautiful and you ought to be like this, when it's subjective, that's when I have a big problem with it. Does that make sense, Ton? So,
This makes absolutely sense
yeah,
because if you have the news media
yeah,
put in the magazines
yeah,
like or on TV, women with thicker lips,
yeah,
then and you put this year after year in it,
yeah,
woman wants to look like that,
yeah,
and
yeah. The
so you
fashion
get
industry.
influence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, the fashion industry is, of course, well, you can have your opinion about it because I use a subjective word, it's the worst, but at least for a long time, these criteria. And although they changed, right, there was a time that we only wanted to have someone that looks like Twiggy, like this, and then it needs to be tall people. And so the beauty and fashion industry, they do a lot of body shaming. You have to look in a certain way. Also, the way they make their dresses, they only look good if you are in that body type, right? Now there are two. I forgot which chain it is here. It's either Walgreens or CVS. Those are two really big things like Kruidvat in the Netherlands, right? And they banned that type of advertisement. You won't see that advertisement in their stores anymore. They don't want to portray a certain type of a woman to sell the products. They literally took a really big stance on that point. So things are changing a little bit.
Mm.
That is for sure. Um,
Yes. But
yeah.
Sean, I think by myself, it's we speak about body shaming,
Mhm.
and body would be more physical. Is that correct?
Well, if you only talk about body shaming, yes, but that's why the subtitle is body and shaming, huh?
Yeah, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. But is it um, from physicality,
mind, yeah.
from the mind? Is it not an abuse of misbehave of power?
Yeah, in the examples that you gave, it's absolute an abuse. Yeah, of course, that is a misuse of power for 100% sure.
Yes.
Um, and
And
yeah,
then the outcome, there is a correlation then with the body shaming, then with the misbehave of the power, and the correlation of body shaming. You have too big ears, you have to dye your hair black,
yeah,
you have to lose weight. They said to my daughter on the academy, um, you was 2 weeks ill, now you're looking good. But my daughter feel terrible even
yeah.
when she was better. So I don't know what is going in that head of these teachers there. I don't know what they're thinking. They not aware of their influence from the outside. So they are actually, I would say, actually they have a disease and they not know that they have a disease. Can you see that picture? They have something in their mind, put a picture in it, how somebody must look. And this is actually a judgment from somebody who is not that this is actually not acceptable. I think I can smile about it, but I think sometimes people are really, really think not what they're doing with somebody others people life. So try to behave, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, that is, for me, that's whether it's a disease or not, but they absolutely not aware. And if they are aware, then they become borderline evil people. If you are aware but you don't care, right? You are aware but you don't care. Oh, I know what I do to this young person, but I don't care. For me, it's only important that we get a certain type of person in our academy, and it's given a little bit. I read up a little bit. The way they defend themselves is that, we want our students to be successful, and we have very limited place for students. So we don't want people to be disappointed doing this education, and we know. And that is, of course, a bogus story, that if you fit these criteria, which are not even clear, but if you fit these criteria, you have more chance for success. That's a little bit the story that sometimes they truly believe that. They really, because they are raised in that way, they grew up in that culture, and they didn't open their mind for what it is. And again, Tom, if it's super clear that that is the case, right? Then I can choose as a dancer to, even if I would fit the criteria, I probably don't even want to be in that academy, but that would be me. Eh?
Yes,
But at least
correct.
you have a choice. Then you have an open choice. But if you let someone fly all the way, or it doesn't have to be fly, but go all the way to a certain spot, and then you wait for a few hours, and then you hear, based on those criteria, you didn't even dance. Oh, you don't fit. That would not be okay.
Yes, and you know what you have? You have like a fat shaming. You have a ear shaming, the ear from your ears, a
Yeah,
nose shaming,
yeah. Big nose, small
the
nose.
hair, the clothing shaming,
Yeah,
age shaming, because I think every human being on that world is unique and is the art themselves. They
yeah.
are already art. And if you would look at from that perspective, then you would not have a judgment how somebody have to look.
No, no. But that's maybe a too ideal world, right? But we can at least put it as a topic on the agenda, like we did today. Uh, um, but yeah, how to do this different is the question, right? We some sort of a fantasy that we need to fit into some sort of a beauty, and that changes, by the way, right? If you go a few hundred years back, and there is a famous Dutch painter called Ruben, right? And he actually painted quite a bit of chubby, fat women, and that was the beauty at that time. That was literally how men thought that is what we like. Well, they were influenced also at that time. And then, I think in the 60s, 70s, it was skinny what was more beautiful. So if we think that there is one definition of what beautiful, that's absolutely not true. That is so influenced by media and by the time and by culture. Um, so some people say no, 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 but so beauty is such a subjective thing, and if it comes to subjectivity, we should never dismiss anyone because they don't fit in that criteria of beauty of that moment.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sean. And there is
that's
no golden standard. It
there's
not
no
exist.
it doesn't
They
exist.
make that golden
They
standard and
believe
think
it's there.
and they believe and they think there is a golden standard.
It's not.
But actually
No,
people who are listening,
yeah,
there
don't know.
isn't.
There isn't. And my daughter actually talking about. She is doing a research at the moment. At least she made a proposal for her finals to do a research about the beauty industry and Korea. Korea is a huge beauty industry, and if you hear this would make make your toe curls. Is people a lot of parents already put money aside from when they're very young to do beauty correction surgery. So when the child is born, parents starts to put money aside, and you can have special funds for it, so that when they're 16 or 17, can do a beauty correction. Can you imagine your child is born? It's not even grown up. I mean, it's the most precious thing in the world, but they put in the culture, well, not everyone, obviously, right? That would be too big of a generalization, but they put in the parent's mind, by 16, he needs to have a beauty correction.
Oh yeah. I could imagine, Sean, when you have the ears like this,
Yeah,
huh, like that,
yeah.
I could imagine that you would make it
Oh, of
to
course,
the
of course.
normal standard that everybody.
No,
And
yeah,
when
I
you
do
have
too.
ears like that, maybe like this, maybe,
No,
but
I do. I do.
yeah,
I do see that too. I think there's a lot of good in that thing. If you maybe you had an accident, right? Something happened to your
yeah,
face, and they can correct it. Like my other sister, she was burned from her whole face. They had to do a lot of correction. And so it's great that we can do that now, right? It's great to do we do that, and even to some extent, if you indeed your ears are, I can see that, but that's different than when the
yes.
child is born and it didn't even grow up. You already have the mindset to say, I want to give her money or him for corrective surgery. You don't even
Yes.
know that that is that. I think that's breeding something in that culture, and so it's not only in the Western culture. So it is from all times. You saw the famous
Yes.
Chinese feet, where the feet had to be very small, right? You know, we have, because there was
Yes.
a thing. You have, of course, the famous thing in the stripe where the necks need to be long, and that
Yeah.
was the sign of beauty. We
And
have
through the nose,
through the nose, you know, and the things in the
yeah,
lip. So we
in
have
the
it
lip.
from,
Yeah.
yeah, we have it from all cultures.
Yeah.
A lot is coming from the fact that um, we equate a certain appearance with success in life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. I
what?
wanted to go back to one thing from time, Sean.
Hmm,
You know Coco Chanel?
yeah, of course.
She said more than 100 years ago, she'd take a scissor and said, "Okay, finish the corset for the women. A woman needs not a corset, and
Hmm.
a women not need these big heads." And she was one of the first designer for women, and all the men at that time were against her. But she did it because she was a woman and she know exactly how she want to feel, uh, how a woman must feel.
Yeah.
So she put the scissors and finished the corset. And this was in the beginning really a revolution. And from there, you can see how it changed from that era to now, that a woman can wear what they want to wear. And
Yeah.
to not
Yeah.
put the judgment on it, on the shaming, you have to look in clothes like this or like that.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point. Is there is a freedom in there. There's of course. I mean, if it comes to clothing, uh, y- I think everyone has a good feeling of what you can and cannot wear to a normal dinner. I don't think we have to wear smoking to go to dinner, but everyone also understand that you cannot come in your swimming pants and no shirt on. I mean, those things are quite normal, right? But to shame someone on the fact how someone is built, right? That is very damaging. And we're talking about the dance industry, and the dance industry that we talk about has often to do what we see about performance. So that is in front of audience. So you let yourself judge. Just do understand that too. If you choose to be a dancer, you put yourself in front of other people, and they judge you. You can say that is wrong, but that's your choice too, right? So. And hopefully we can influence that judgment based upon a lot of criteria, and one of the criteria is of course how you portray yourself on the dance floor, if it comes to
Yes.
stage dancing, if it comes to competitive dancing, and those things could be different. Hip hop dancers don't think that they have all their baggy and loose clothes, that they didn't think
Yes.
about appearance too. They did too. If I go
Yes.
in my Latin suit on a hip hop competition, and even if I would dance really well hip hop, I will be in the beginning judged on like, what is he wearing? Huh?
Mhm.
So no one is excluded from that.
Yes. In the dance world, I was writing down this, Sean, because
Hmm.
the religion and the culture, they have their own culture and own religion.
Absolutely.
When you would look to the Muslim culture, the women in the 70s was more free to wear what I have now, because it's so many times in the news media. So there are, you can see, for most, you cannot see the hairs anymore in Afghanistan and in Iran and Iraq. But in the what actually we do a little bit similar. We make it even more in our dance world. Like, you have to have small legs. You have to have long legs. In the Latin world, still there are many people who have black hair, long hair, because they related to a certain culture of dancing. They have to look brown. Say they're doing brown tanning on, and then they say, yeah, but on the dance floor you have to look brown, otherwise you look ill. But in the ballet world, they not put that tanning on, and in the hip hop world, so you they put a certain culture and religion also in a particular dance world, in the ballet, in the hip hop. But why you cannot be who you are? You are the art yourself. Why to judge it? So if you want to perform, be free from rules. Actually, why put a rule on it?
Well, like there is. I mean, you can. There is not a single answer to that, of course. I mean, every dance style and every and it has nothing to do only with dance. If you go to golf, you see that there is a certain things that people wear, and then you've always rebellions in that, right? You've always people who go against the grain. Andre Agassi went against the grain when he was wearing these neon collars, where it was very common to go to Wimbledon only in pure white, right? That was, so we all have that, and you will see that also in our Latin and ballroom. That's where we typically coming from. Also, there it changes, the fashion changes as well, but it's still from a. If you are outside that world, it all looks the same, right? I am inside that world, so I see the nuance, right? But if you're outside the world, you think, okay, all these guys are wearing some sort of a black thing, and the other ones have a dress on, you know. And for me, not knowing the hip hop world, for me they all look the same. They all have baggy clothes and t-shirts and stuff like that, and they don't accept if I would come in a costume. You go to Argentine tango, they also have a costume, but the costumes look different. And that's the luck with maybe Ton and me. We cross so many dance styles, so we see the differences. And I can see it in one studio, Ton, and I feel it's not with ill intent, but people do it almost subconsciously, right? So I go to a West Coast swing class, and the West Coast swing people, they typically just wear their jeans and they have their t-shirts on, and they look very almost shabby. They're almost proud, like shabby looking. And if you come from another dance class like Argentine tango, and so you look a little bit typically a little bit more dressed in an Argentine tango class, literally not everyone, but some people already look at that like, they look a little bit down on that person. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Um,
that makes sense.
and and
Absolutely,
and
Sean.
and I don't think they immediately mean it in a bad way. I don't think they mean it in a bad way, but they have some sort of in their head. Oh, if you not look like this, you don't belong to our dance style. That is a little bit, and I think as teachers, we should become very aware to not breed such behavior and thinking. That's the point that we want to make, right?
Yes, yes.
And
What I have one thing in my head, Sean.
mhm,
Steve Jobs. You know Steve Jobs, ne?
yeah,
From
Steve Jobs, yeah, from Apple.
Apple.
Hmm.
His presentation were always in a jeans and a black shirt.
Black Turtle, yeah.
Yes, but he was accepted because he wear only that um, this kind of clothing, but the respect was there because his quality inside and what he produced to the outside was um, really really huge. Why we cannot look to people also on the dance floor to this, look to the quality from the inside, not judge somebody only from the outside?
Oh, is that a question for me?
No, it's not actually a question, but it's actually
It's a general question. No.
there are similarities in it because I take two extremes from somebody who is not known and somebody who is very known, who stays close to himself
Yeah.
and did his presentation in jeans and in a black shirt.
No, but I
And
mean, we should not let influence our personal preference, Tom, in this, because
mhm,
I can fully. appreciate someone in a beautiful, what I think beautiful, I do it on purpose now, right? The
Mhm,
subjective
mhm.
word beautiful, in a beautiful Armani or a Dolce Gabbana suit and have a good talk. And if that fits that person, if he does wear that because he believes that he wants to be, what I don't like if they say you will only be judged well if you wear a Dolce and Gabbana. That's the difference, right? So
They,
I
yeah.
love the Latin look. I love it. I love the dresses. I design dresses. I love it. But I'm not saying you can only be judged well if you wear that type of dress. See, there's the difference. That
Mhm.
is, if we put in someone's head, you can only score well if you are in a certain way dressed, or then that's not a good thing. Or you have, but I particularly like it from a personal point of view. I have nothing against it. I'm not judging someone wrong if they do something different. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I think if
Yeah.
you want to go on the Latin dance floor, and let's say you look like a hip hop dancer, but your quality of dancing is there,
Mhm.
hey, you have not me against it. It's probably not the clothes that I would wear, but I fully appreciate you.
Yes, 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 yes.
See, that's the
So
that's the difference.
you judge a book then by the cover?
No, I just say that the cover is also part of the book. I'm just not saying,
Yeah.
oh, the book the cover is not part of it. I'm just saying I'm not only judge the book by the cover.
No, I think you need both too.
Exactly, you need both.
Yes, you need both too.
You
But
cannot. So
but
therefore, my personal opinion about whether Steve Jobs looked like that, at some point in time, it's just image too. So he,
image. Yes,
of
but he
course,
built up
he
that image.
created that image of I look normal in jeans with a black turtle, and that's my image. And
And
he built that image up too.
yes, but that image you can build also on the dance floor.
Of course,
But it's
yeah,
sometimes not possible. If you are in a company, then the choreographer had some ideas how somebody have to look in that company. So you will wear that. Of course, that's a part of your job then to wear that because this is why they pay you.
yeah.
And the same in the ballet world. But there are, when you make or create something for yourself, realize that you can wear whatever you want to wear. But if you want also have a nice cover, whatever that would be, I don't know what that is
Me
because it
neither.
not exist actually. But maybe it would support the idea. Then be free and try to find something what support the idea, but not just. I think by myself, fat people, people with the ears in front, or people on an age, they deserve a chance
Oh
actually,
no, of course.
and not to judge them on the outside,
Yeah.
because the inside could really, really surprise you.
No, totally agree. I see. I even think that it's bad to say if you say, "Oh, he danced well for a fat person," that's horrible.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
But that
That's
happens.
actually that's not a compliment.
That's not a compliment. But you see,
No.
you see YouTube videos, and they say, dance is for everyone, and then they portray someone with a different shape than most. Well, if dance is for everyone, and a normal looking person is also okay. Yeah, you should also not be have extra point because you look different and you still dance well. People cannot see through it yet. Now, if it comes to being overweighted, right? We should also not glorify the fact that if you are overweighted but you can still dance well. We should also know that being overweighted is a health issue. It's a health issue. Don't glorify being overweighted, but I would never judge someone less on dance qualities because of his weight or his appearance. See, that's where it becomes very tricky.
It depends what you think. What is overweighted? When I would do in athletics, I would how you say the ball.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I do yes. When I throw that heavy ball there,
yeah,
I'm 60 kilo, but somebody who look more overweighted, I would say,
yeah. But
and
they're
there are
not.
90 or 120 kilo.
But they're not
So
overweighted. They
no,
just
that
heavy. They just heavy.
heavy, yes.
But if you
But
are
when they,
truly, yeah,
yes,
that's a difference, right? I'm not judging someone because he looks bigger than someone else,
no,
right? I am I used to be a fighter in the ring, right? And you typically fight against someone in your own weight category. But I also fought in where there is no weight categories, and I'm a very light person, and I know how hard it is to fight someone who is bigger and heavier than you. That is really hard, right? But
yes,
that I don't call those people overweighted. But when someone is obese, yeah, of course. I mean, if they dance well, they would still get good marks from me. I would not judge them on being overweighted. That's what I. But there is still the
yes,
issue of being overweighted, right? So you cannot be discriminated in any form because of your appearance. Mm,
yes. The thing is, you are on the same standard as your other judges than the other judges, but you are not. Maybe you stand alone in that opinion, and this is why it's important to have education in that one,
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, but I also want to be honest, right? In to ourselves. Let's not pretend that we are better than anyone else.
No, no,
Is
no.
if two dances are the same dance quality, dance quality, you know, we all have some sort of a tendency then to give someone the and that is just that's just the nature of competition. So maybe you should have something against competition then too. But in the end, we then someone on whatever your personal preference is, right? And that could be beauty, that could be, oh man, he works so hard because he has more weight,
Mm,
whatever it is. That becomes always unfair. Some people say, oh, like in a company, oh, if the criteria are the same, then someone with that ethnic background has preference. I said,
mm,
how can these rules
yes,
be said in one sentence? You know, if
A- and
if
they
they
do
are
that.
if they do
Do
that, if
that.
they are the same, then the women gets preference. How can these be in? How do these things exist together in one sentence?
Ac- Actually, it's a misbehave of power. They use their
Yes.
power.
Yeah.
When they have an audition, 600 people come to audition, and after you kicked out, they was
Yeah.
searching for an Asian type of
Exactly.
dancer,
Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
they let 600 people come. Why they not say we look
Exactly.
for Asian type of person,
It's at least
and then you
honest.
get maybe 60, 70,
It's
or 100
no,
for the
yeah,
audition, and not
yeah.
600.
It's at
So,
least
and then the other 500, they are very disappointed.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So, but it's very hard, of course, to rule that out. And I don't know in that particular situation if I would be a judge in a competition, and you and I have judged our share of competitions, that if they would be exactly the same, which is already almost impossible. But let's say theoretically, that is, what would I give my preference, right? So let's say there
Yes.
is a same-sex couple that dance exactly the same quality as a non-same-sex couple. There
Yeah.
probably will be people say, oh, then I'll let the same-sex couple go forward because it's so special. And other people say, oh,
Yeah.
and so that's, so you see, if we are, and I think that's why we ask, how honest are we to ourselves? Do we have it in ourselves that we do these things to other people too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. I think we all
Yes.
do. We all do.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
and
I learned now, while I'm 59 years old, I learned the last 10 years because I had also get from my parents, from my environment as education, how people must look.
yeah,
But now through my studies and through my writing of my book, I think different. And through the conversations with you, Sean, I see now the world different. And this is each person is very unique and it's very special.
Yeah.
And not to put a sticker on the outside, but try first to give somebody a chance and
No,
give a chance
I
or
totally agree.
somebody is and what it is. It's the art of himself. That's what I said already before on the podcast. So each person is already art. You are unique, you are special, and
And
go
bring that.
through the world with this idea.
Yeah, and bring that forward. Yes. No, I can only agree, and that does not mean that I cannot. So if some people think, oh, you guys want to make the whole world everything the same, not at all. We want to keep the uniqueness of it all. So there were some attempts to make every guy dance in pure black with long sleeves, and then the same dress for every girl. Yeah, probably you get a little bit more honest way of looking just at dance, but for me, a big, a big, a big attraction for me to at least some dance styles is the cover of the book too. But it has to go hand in hand. If someone looks
Yes.
like $1 million with beautiful dress and beautiful subjective, I know that Tom, and beautiful clothes, but they can dance. There's no way that I would judge that in a positive way.
Yes. I think from the unconscious, we're looking for symmetry. We're
Oh
looking
yeah.
for
Oh,
geometric.
100% sure. Yeah.
Yes, this is what we're looking for. And this comes because our industry is more from the industry revolution. So we're looking to these straight
We're
lines
looking for
and
order.
balanced lines. We look for order and
Yeah.
we look for, yes, but try to see and take also the other one as
Yeah.
a positive judgment. Asymmetry is also positive, and
Oh,
unorderly is also positive, and organic look, not that everybody is exactly in the same line, that makes it special. And this is
yeah.
the opposite from it. So
Yeah.
look to both sides:
Oh, yeah.
symmetry, asymmetry,
Yeah.
orderly, unorderly, geometric, and organic. These are very important points to consider and to be aware that
Hmm.
there is not only one golden standard. There isn't.
Yeah. There is.
And that makes it
I have to look it up for you, Tom, because there is an American photographer, and he's an artist, and he on purposely made everything symmetric, and you will see how scary that looks. That looks very weird. We think it's beautiful if everything is perfectly symmetric, but it's actually not. Actually, it goes a little bit against your feeling because we don't see the world. And interest, well, that's a little bit
yes, yes,
besides the thing,
yes.
but he actually was very young already on the body shaming issue, that everything has to be perfect, right? And he made portraits. He on purposely he used and made it perfect, and it's not so beautiful as you think it is. At least in the standard of what we think is beautiful. So, but the deeper psychological reason for this is, Tom, is people would like to understand things. We have a need in our brain to always make sense of the world.
Mhm.
And we make quicker sense of the world if things are in order.
Yes.
Organic things are typically not so in order, so it takes a little bit more effort for us to understand it. So that is not a subjective thing, that's an objective thing, right? So that's where that's coming from. That's where
Yeah,
that
interesting, huh? Interesting, Sean.
yeah.
To
So
see,
so things outside the norm, right? And whatever the norm is, the norm in itself is very subjective already, will always be judged for by some people in a negative way. Some people actually appreciate it, like, oh my gosh, it's so special. But if it's too far out of the norm, it
yeah.
will most of the time not be well received. Like your hair went off. It was, and you dance truly different with bald hair? Now you dance the same, equally good, but it probably has cost you quite a few marks.
Yes, absolutely, Sean.
Yeah,
And if I would dance now in that Latin world, yeah, but I accept who I am. And
yeah.
of course, in the beginning, it's really personal.
Oh,
It was difficult to lose my hair, and I was used to my hair, and I was proud of it. But now I don't have it. Now I also accept who I am. I
hmm.
am what I am. This is the
You,
beautiful song. Beautiful, again, subjective.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
a song.
Shirley
Yes.
Bassey with
Yeah.
a very nice version of "I Am What I Am."
Version of
But
it. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a very sensitive topic because I'm losing my hair, But I'm
Yeah.
losing my hair since the age of 30, so I was still dancing. And then Will van Roosel, right? My good friend and one of my first teachers. Will, and he said, no. He said we were also in Blackpool. He said to me, Jai, but you know what you need to do? You need to put shoe polish on your hair. So we went to Boots and we bought shoe polish, but of course it was a little bit of a joke for him too. We did, but I
Yeah.
fell for it, and then of course that it was horrible. It was horrible, but I did it. It was so stupid, and just instead of just saying, "Hey man, it is what it is,"
Yes.
it
I want just to give one advice, Sean. That was a nice story, actually. I want to give one advice. Go into your background, what your parents learned. Maybe you consider to think different about it.
yeah,
The news, what you get from the newspaper, think always by yourself and go deeper. Why I like this and why I like this not. Ask this question to yourself, and then maybe there comes something surprising out. And if you not care, you behave people probably like maybe not fair.
yeah. Yeah, that's
That's what
that
the
last that
interpretation
last
about
part
yourself.
is the most important part, right? Of course it's okay if you have your preference, what you like and what you don't like. We're not against that at all. Subjectivity is not wrong, but if you do something, you judge someone differently, and specifically as a professional judge, you mark them differently because you don't like how they look, then it becomes an issue, right? That's or you treat them differently because the way they look, then it becomes an issue. That's what we talk about. We're not saying you cannot have your preference in how people, what you like and what you don't like. Maybe you don't like bold people, but it doesn't mean that's fine. It's okay, you know but you cannot say, oh, I think he is a lesser person because he's bold. That's body shaming.
Yes. So Sean, I have to go
Me too.
now.
Me too.
Yes.
I hope you people thought it was an interesting discussion. Tom and I were pretty relaxed in talking about this. If you speak English and Dutch, by the way, you can follow some of these discussions also in Dutch. I can promise you, it typically is slightly different in the other language. But it's kind of fun. So I just wanted to say, Tom, that we actually have two podcasts, one in Dutch, one in English. Very often we have the same topic, but we
Yes.
typically always discuss it in two ways. So if you put the
Yes.
subtitles on or you speak both languages, you can listen to both. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye, but I also want to announce already to some people ask, hey, but where are your podcasts? So we'll show that at the end. Ton,
Yes.
it was a pleasure talking to you as always. You know, have a great rest of your week, and we'll hope to see you next time in Dance Jam with
Yes.
another topic. Today we talked about body shaming, and we had hopefully an unfiltered conversation on body and shaming.
Yes. And if you are came to the end, then I will say thank you for listening. Till
Yes.
next time.
Till next time. All right, this was Dance Gems with another episode, and I will say this now. And of course, you can find us on Spotify on Dance Gems. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com at Ton Greten Podcast, and then we also have a website called Gemdance /podcasts. All right. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.